The gas station is big. It sits on the corner in the bus exhaust. Fat Fred is the owner. He is my idol. I worship his huge fat gut. His gut is the best gut. His gut is the strongest gut. His gut is the central focus of my existence. I work in his giant, mean, ugly gas station just to be near his fat, sweat-covered gut. A girl that I know works across the street in the plastic snow shovel store. She visits me sometimes at the gas station, and she has a loud, loud mouth. When the temperature is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, business gets a little slow in the plastic snow shovel store. So the girl comes over to the gas station to talk to me. When she leaves, Fred starts to complain. He is hot. He is fat. He is red. Not bright red, but dark red. Almost purple in some spots. He is an ugly rotating Buddha, mopping his bald red cinder block head. His pig eyes shoot ugly, greasy laser beams of annoyance at me. "What's she sucking around here for?" he says. He doesn't know that she is my friend's girlfriend and that I don't like her any more than he does. It is a hot, busy day, and he must secrete some hatred in my direction. He lets out 3 fat grunts and spits on the floor with authority and says, "Why don't you just drag her up Lynn Woods and fuck her and be done with it? Then have all your buddies fuck her too." I stare at his bald eminence, the immenseness of his baldness, the imminent eminence of his bald immenseness. Fat Fred's fat gut, covered with the fat sweat that is the product of many years of gin and tonics, demands my attention. This hot day invites the public to water slide down Fat Fred's huge fat gut. Fat Fred's fat gut is so huge that it is divided into 2 parts with a kind of fold down the middle. Imagine water sliding down a water slide of sweat shaped like Fat Fred's incredibly huge fat gut. Sliding in a fast gushing stream of sweat, swooping and diving through the fat clumps of hair like a leopard frog through underwater fields of waving, swaying swamp moss. The river of sweat would smell like a skunk. Later in the afternoon, it is hotter. It is 116 degrees. Fat Fred is once again an ugly rotating Buddha mopping his fat, bald, red cinder block head. His pig eyes radiate murderous annoyance. I am staring into space, my mind several continents away. Fat Fred lets out a steam engine blast of hot pig air. He grunts at me in mock concern. "You all right? You gonna be all right? You here? You lost? You with us today? I just want to be sure you're all right." I am not listening. I am fixated on Fat Fred's immense bald head. It is smooth, shiny, sweaty, and slimy. It is red and hot and pulsating and smoking with hatred. I imagine holding on to the office window, gripping it ferociously while Fat Fred slams his immense bald head up my asshole, goring out my shiny entrails, rooting around in my miles and miles of shiny intestines until I consume his ugly, sweaty, bald immenseness, the imminence of his eminent baldness, the immenseness of his bald eminence, the imminent eminence of his bald immenseness. I am driving. Bob is walking. He sees me and he wants a ride. I want to hit him. He says, "Take me to the liquor store." I take him to the liquor store. Jim has been sitting quietly in the front passenger seat. Bob turns to him and says, "I saw your mother the other day. What happened to her? She used to be nice looking. I would have fucked her a few years ago. I would have fucked the shit out of her a few years ago. What happened to her?" Bob goes into the liquor store. Bob comes out of the liquor store. He says, "I need a ride to Lynn." I say, "Why? What is in Lynn?" He says, "I got this chick on Breed Street, and I want to fuck her before it gets too hot." You get all sweaty and shit. You get all hot and shit. You get all red and shit. I hate that. So I'm gonna fuck her before it gets too hot. I take Bob to Lynn. He gets out of the car. He says, "Hey, thanks a lot. Hey, hey." I leave. I used the phone that was attached to the brick wall near Brooks Drug Store at the North Shore Shopping Center on April 7th. On the wall was an interesting exchange between two people named Hope and Joy. Many people that I have known with names like Hope, Joy, Faith, Patience, Prudence, Charity, etc. have been some of the most messed up people in the world. It seems that naming a daughter after an ideal or a virtue is a sure sign of trouble. I read this scrawled debate in a flooding rain, punctuational, grammatical, and spelling errors included. Hope is a fucking cunt bag who's gonna get her fucking shitty head kicked in. Joy, you're fucking dead, cunt face. Hope gave head to my boyfriend, and now she's a dead fucking cunt. This is where it stands between Hope and Joy from a literary perspective. I will keep listeners informed of any further developments in the Hope and Joy situation if and when they are brought to my attention. A minor discrepancy in the childhood humor of northeastern Massachusetts in the 1970s was pointed out to me as I was watching seagulls smash mussels on slimy rocks. The guy that I was talking to grew up in Marblehead, and I grew up in Peabody. We discovered that we had been raised on a lot of the same stupid jokes. I mentioned a joke involving the word clit, and he said that the joke had involved another body part in his town. There was no clit in Marblehead, he informed me. No clit in Marblehead? I echoed. No, the clit did not reach Marblehead until about 1980, he explained. I said, "Oh." Wow, I wish I could lay a patch of rubber like that in my car. Can I hang around with you? Where do you lift weights? I lift them down my cellar. I just think all us guys with huge sexual organs should all hang out together. Do you like me? I hope so.
Kenneth killed his pet squirrel. Then he encased it in rubber cement. Lila has one of those revolving dildos, the kind with plastic pubic hair to make it look really realistic. She walks around with it revolving in her back pocket, waiting for someone to say something so that she can give them a chop in the throat. Ronald shot skunks in his backyard. The neighborhood smelled like a skunk for 20 years, except for Mr. Sapienza. He smelled like shit.
While talking to Mamoud on the phone, I stated that I had wasted too many years working at meaningless, low-paying jobs, and that I would like to do something that I enjoy for a living. Mamoud said, I'd like to have my dick sucked for a living. For the next several minutes, we explored the possibility. First, we established that Mamoud would only want his dick to be sucked by a female, and that diminished his chosen career possibilities enormously. I ruled out the remaining possibilities by reminding him that gigolos and erotic performers had many more duties and responsibilities, and that being a gigolo or a porn actor wasn't simply a matter of getting your dick sucked and being paid for it. But there must be a way for Mamoud to realize his career dreams, and as soon as I discover it, I will contact him immediately. I was making a delivery and doing my stupid, suck, asshole, fuck delivery job. I stopped at a red light, and two young ladies took time out from breathing Marlboro smoke in and out of their lungs to inform me that the company I worked for sucked, blew, and ate assholes. I agreed, and they further assisted me by pointing out that there were in existence two words that ideally defined my life, and that those two words were fucking faggot. Immediately, I saw an opportunity to reciprocate this helpfully volunteered designation through pointing out that there were in existence 62 words that ideally defined the lives of these two helpful young ladies. Those 62 words being dumb as a block of shit, Marlboro sucking scuzz that smells like fried shrimp, left out in the sun in a glass jar on a hot summer day, that will have 4 kids by 4 different guys by the age of 18, and between them they will pretty much succeed in knocking all her teeth out and probably killing her before 30. I have always believed, and will continue to believe, that honest, open, from-the-heart communication is the bridge that spans life's most treacherous and unforgiving rapids. If that makes me old-fashioned, hey, I'm old-fashioned. So sue me already. I've had at least 50 worthless jobs, and if one great thing happens, it's sure to happen on one of my days off. One job was loading trucks at an aluminum door factory. One of the workers was a real dumb fuck, red-faced South Boston beer puke named Henry. He sought out people who were very small, or physically handicapped, or female, or just anyone he thought incapable of beating him up, and persecuted them. Even the assholes loathed him. Some temp workers were assigned to the factory for the month of December. One of them was a Buddhist and had a whole, non-violent karmic way of life, and of course nothing emboldens a chicken shit, Henry-type pussy like the perception of the absence of the possibility of retaliation. You can easily imagine what this Buddhist had to endure in his 4 weeks on the job. On the Buddhist's last day, Henry went around offering bets on how many punches it would require to knock out, quote, the faggot, unquote. Just before lunchtime, the Buddhist tapped Henry on the shoulder, and when Henry turned around, the Buddhist slammed a big overhand right into his face, and Henry was out for several minutes. It was one of my days off, and I wasn't there to laugh in his face when he woke up. Paul was in my 8th grade algebra class. He had a lot of Greek friends and had learned a lot of Greek words describing sexual acts, and he enjoyed saying them. Most of the words referred to male homosexual acts, some of them quite ludicrous sounding. He liked to use these words in connection with our algebra teacher, a white-haired, windburn-faced sailboater from Marblehead who took way too much shit from the class's assholes. Paul would give his 5 students exams to monitor their progress. They were mostly fill-in-the-blanks essays concerning the alleged homosexual adventures of our Marblehead sailboater algebra teacher. He also had multiple-choice questions, usually requiring the student to choose from 4 or 5 different homosexual acts, the algebra teacher's alleged preferences in given situations. The tests were then graded by Alex, who was an authority due to his Greek citizenship. I finished my first year of algebra with an 85 average in Greek homosexual terminology. Paul had a 100 average, or an A+ grade. He was happy with his grade because it was much better than mine.
I have an asshole job, and I'm doing it. It is almost midnight, and I am walking the perimeter of a building and recording the zone checks on a Detex clock, which is covered in black vinyl and hanging from my shoulder by a strap. 4 functionally illiterate inner-city youths are walking by. At least one of them has to say something. They cannot just walk by because that would be a violation of the official rules of prison-destined garbage. One of the pieces of walking fecal matter asks me if I'm carrying a purse. This is a high point of his day that consists mostly of being stupid and doing nothing and stealing from the elderly residents of his neighborhood and taking up space and wasting air that worthwhile people could be using. I decide not to answer his question. My answer will have to wait until a rainy morning, just before dawn, in a secluded little alley between the State Transportation Building and a ticket agency. Then and there, I will very swiftly shoot him, decapitate him, and scoop out the section of the brain that stores new information. I will hold the brain matter up in front of the Detex clock and explain, no, this is not a purse, it is a Detex clock. I will whip the brain matter into the wall, and as it splatters, I will say, you can learn something new every day if you will only keep your mind open.
It was time to start work, and I was in no mood. I began loading equipment from one vehicle to another, and I looked up to see my boss beaming. "What a great day," he declared. I continued loading equipment. "What a great day for the race." I said nothing. "Well, aren't you going to ask me what race?" "Okay. What race?" "The human race." Fuck. One spring morning in the 8th grade, Rick, James, Pete, and I were waiting for school to start so that we could get some sleep. Pete said, "I was walking across the field near the mall with Rick and Jeff yesterday. Halfway between the mall and the highway, we saw a kid kneeling in some bushes. He looked like he was sheltering something in his hand from the wind. When we got to the bushes, it turned out that he was beating off. Right out there in the middle of the field. We should have beat the fuck out of him." I was struck by a spasm of disgust. Pete was, or should have been, educated enough to know that the correct phrase for usage in that situation should have been, "We should have beaten the fuck out of him," not, "We should have beat the fuck out of him." It irritates me very much to hear relatively affluent and educated people using incorrect grammar out of habit. I stopped hanging around with the arrogant, ignorant fuck soon after that. I first wished Ralph dead on a bright, sunny, cool, crisp Saturday morning. White frost covered all the vegetation and sparkled. The streets and parking lots and buildings already smelled like exhaust fumes. Ralph was leaning on the photomat. A big bottle of ginger brandy was in his coat pocket. Every 90 seconds he would whip it out of his pocket and take a small swig with a big motion. A kid came by with a pint of Bacardi rum that he had stolen from his father. Ralph decided to try a hit. He took the flask, turned it upside down, put his mouth under it, and swallowed a third of its contents.
Yeah, I'll have to get some of this tonight,
he resolved. Billy Bucket then walked up and asked me in his high-pitched croak why I wasn't drinking. Ralph said,
"Hey, take a hit of this shit. Go ahead."
I said no thanks, and he punched my mouth. His fist was still gripping the bottle, and he was so weak and wasted that I barely felt the punch. Then he urged me once again to drink from the big brandy bottle. Again I refused, but he didn't punch me this time. Billy Bucket is still alive and is married and has several kids and looks like a waddling, stumpy barrel with a cigarette stuck in it. Ralph is dead. Five classmates surrounded me and shouted threats and insults. I listened for 30 seconds and then punched the biggest one, really nailed him right in the middle of his face. To my utter dismay, he clutched his nose and threw his head back and wailed his lungs out. Every first-grade teacher was on top of me in 15 seconds. Within 40 seconds, every second and third-grade teacher was there. The kid that I punched wouldn't stop screaming, and suddenly I was being hauled to the principal's office with my hands up behind my back like a defendant. 1 minute I am surrounded by a gang of thugs threatening to, quote, kick my fucking head in, unquote, and the next minute I'm some kind of murderer. This really inhibited the development of my coping skills and also my problem-solving capabilities. I should have developed my instincts in this direction and continued to nail the biggest asshole in any situation, but I unfortunately felt bad about the aftermath of my punching accuracy. The principal was old, Irish, and ready to retire. This was an old-fashioned kind of problem that he had been handling since my grandparents were little kids. He had us shake hands and be friends and all that shit. I should have said, "No thanks, Mr. Doyle. I'm going to punch every scum asshole from now on and have a much more sensible life from this point." But I didn't, and that kid that I pounded that day died of leukemia 9 years later.
Oh, I see. You appear your name. I see, come here. You come in here drunk. You come in drunk all the time, No work, nothing. You just drunk. You come here all the night drunk. No? Roast beef with cheese. Roast beef cheese grinder. I cook on the grill. And now? You're not ready. You're not cook. What that have you? Okay, what's the matter? You want it raw? You want it raw? You're crazy. You want it raw? You want it raw? Oh, sir, lady, sir. What can I do for you? You're looking for a bill? No bill. You'll be back at 3:30. This afternoon, 3:30. For you, you'll be back at 3:30. I know. No, only whole pizza. Don't do that slice business. None of that slice business.